let's move on. By request, we're going to do a couple of neck manipulations. So remember, I rolled your neck out today. Keep the neck loose and fluid. Be gentle with everybody's neck. It's super important that we don't tear people up. All right. A lot of ways to get into the crucifix position. All right, I'm going to show you the one that I like best from the mount. Then I'm going to show you one where I make a throw and we land in it, okay? All of these neck manipulations do what? Affect the spine. Let's be careful with that. Now, if I can bend Joel's neck far enough this way, it makes it hard to breathe. So again, he can breathe fine there, and I start closing off his airway with his own, bending his neck far forward. You start having difficulty. You can smother somebody with a good neck manipulation. So the crucifix will do that. So let's see. Let me spin him back the other way so you guys can see. I'm going to start here with side control. All right? So the first way that I can easily get into crucifix is by starting in not side control, in scarf hold. Start in scarf hold, and I can start manipulating the head this way. It makes him difficult to breathe. It's not the crucifix yet, but this is the basic idea. Now once I get here, I'm going to start pushing this hand down, and I'm going to rotate until I'm holding him this way. Then I'm going to go under the head and capture that and hop over it. And I've got crucifix. His arm's really flexible. But this is what I want, all right? That arm shouldn't go that way. That's almost unnatural. But once I get this hand on the ground, Joel, are you okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna lean back and crank the neck, okay? That arm was just like dislocated looking, wasn't it? Let's see. Come here, Dylan. Let me stretch Dylan a little bit. So again, we're going to be here in scarf hold, right? And I just want Dylan to have difficulty breathing. So I'm going to start pushing on his chest. I'm going to get him tired. I want him tired. Okay? Ultimately, I'm going to push this down and I'm going to grab it. Right? This is kind of like the crucifix, but just I'm not in position yet. Switch. I'm going to change hands and get to here. Step over. I can do it from the mount, or I can go ahead and sit to the side. Now, Dylan, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
It gets bad when I kick this foot out. I lift him up, and I push his neck towards his chest.
Yeah, that works.
All right? One more time, sir. Head that way. By the way, you don't have to start in scarf hold. You can start immediately in the mount if you want. But I want to tire him out before I do this move because he's going to fight you on it. I'm going to show you kind of from the back so that you get to see what happens from the front. Here, kicked out. Notice my butt comes off the ground, and I lift the head and I compress his lungs and pull up on his neck. Then I'm going to push this down, capture that arm, right? Shift over. Now I'm going for this part, right? At this point, I can move to the mount, set this on. Now his head has to be under my armpit. Hopefully y'all can see that.
Yes, sir.
Now, I can do it a little bit from here, but this is where it gets good. I lift this arm, I sit out. At this point, he's still okay. And when I start arching my back, watch how I compress his chin to his chest. Okay, does that make sense?
Sure.
If you want to exercise caution, go slow. Any questions on crucifix? Everybody make sense? Does it make sense to everyone why I started in the scarf hold? Kind of tire him out a little bit. Get this hand in place. Here, replace with this one. Both hands on the ground. Mount. Side control. And then I execute it. Go. Guys are starting all in side control, or scarf hold. I keep saying side control. All right, so this isn't scarf hold. This is, I'm about to get rolled. This is scarf hold. Get on your side, Michael. There you go. All right, hold. Everybody should be here. Now I'm not gonna rock back this way because she's just gonna roll me. All right, I'm gonna kick my feet out She's already going, ugh, and I'm gonna lift the head. That sucks for her. All right, that's how I get her tired. Now watch. I could push this down like I'm gonna make an Americana, right? But I'm gonna grab under the armpit. Everybody get there. See how I've got around the head, like I'm gonna headlock her, controlling the tricep, all with the same arm. This hand is free. Good? Now I gotta use this hand to replace. I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna reach under her head and dig deep and make a, basically like a headlock. I get under his neck. Get turned a little bit, you should be in side control. Put your head towards his hips. There you go. That looks good, that looks good. Everybody's kind of, except for Josh, waiting on Josh. You should be on his, everybody should look like you're in a side control position. You should not be in north and south. All right, has everybody got me? You've got to reverse, your hands need to be the other way, Michael. Same hand, go around the other side of his head. See, you're like this, Michael? Go this way. There you go. There you go, Michael. All right, now, controlling that part of the body. Don't give up the headlock. I got my head on the ground, this hand's still free. Heck, I'm even grabbing her belt right here so my hand doesn't move. I'm just gonna grab onto something. Now watch. I kick this leg over, set this hand, and then I lift this shoulder. Now I'm helping her out by lifting her up. Try to get here. Keep that low, Joel. There you go. Go ahead and grab his, just set him up on his butt like he's sitting. Lift him up like Vicky. Jeremy, try to sit up like you'll sit on your butt. There you go. Everybody should be kind of in this position. Chris, sit up on your butt like you're gonna sit. All right, now, his other arm should be underneath your belly. No, don't move that hand, that hand's important. Yep, now, Chris, reach under her armpit and give her your hand. That's her back. Reach under your arm, under her armpit. Let me, don't move, don't move. All right. Vicky, go sit up for me just so we can get back to this position. And the reason we're up is just to show what this looks like without hurting our partner, without tapping them out. This is where we want to be. This hand has to touch the ground, and then I'm gonna walk my feet out, pull on her shoulder. That hand needs to be on the ground, flat. That's an anchor. Get that hand to the ground, Jeremy. All right, now you just rock back, right, and she'll tap. Right? Yeah. Difficult. All right. Switch, other person. You got to be quick with this. Unmonetize us or something for using music and playing the flowers. Oh yeah. All right. So Joel's going to get low like a wrestler, and he's going to be looking for maybe single leg or double leg. Okay. Let's say that he was going to want single leg. This is the key hand. If this is the leg that's out, he goes to grip. This hand goes underneath here, and then I lift and I sit here. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. You only get a quarter of a second to get this done, but if you get it set up, it's pretty cool. So he goes to make single leg. I go here, and then I go here. And then I roll him over, and I've got crucifix.
Can you show me from the backwards, or him facing this way?
Everybody's like, that does seem easier. Like a whole bunch of monkeyness going on, right? So we're here. He comes in. I hook. Now watch. I roll. Both hands go to the mat. I sit on it. I crank. Pretty cool? All right. Option number 2. We're up here. We make a grip. Remember, we've been doing a lot of this. Let's break away. Let's pull him down and get into this position for Nick Fury or for a throw, right? It's the same entry, right? I go to break this. If I can't break it off, I do a wrist break, switch back, right? I could go here to knock him off balance. Now watch, I'm gonna snatch him down. Now there it is. I just gotta figure out which side I want. In this case, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna roll, set, kick. So you got grappling option, which is the first one. I do mine from scarf hold. Single leg option, and then, right, and then from the natural grip, right, also, maybe we're kickboxing, right, boom, scoop here, right, you can do a kickboxing option, but once you get the front headlock position for guillotine, it's the same position, just under 2 double underhooks to make the throw. Now, I can't just say magically, Joel must sit. If he decides to sit on his own, I get it, but I start pushing, he's gonna just push, resist me. So I might have to hook this leg, do a spine compression, bop, drop into it, bop, and I can get it that way. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Cool?
Yes, sir.
If you like Crucifix, start looking for it in your throw. Look for it in your mount. Look for it in side control and scarf hold. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Gave you some options. The best option for this easier one is probably off the single leg. The leg that's forward, hook, get the head in, hook, step, turn, and he should go down. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, give it a try. Crucifix from the single leg. Chris is super flexible. I want to play with him for a minute. Not because I want to see if I can totally cripple him, which most people out there are like, you're going to cripple the young guy? Yes, that's kind of what I want to do. No.
His mother's watching,
His neck is super flexible. He's like, I can really, I'm okay. And so I'm not going to be able to, not trying to play so much pressure that I get him where he's like, I got to tap. What I want to do is I want to show you the range of motion. All right? So down on the ground, use my Jedi Magic, which is pretty cool. So we can start in scarf hold if we want, or we can start in side control if we want. Both of those are fine. All right? Now what I really want to do is I want to control the head this way this time. Okay? So this is like a weird, like headlock position would be kind of like we had here, right? So this is kind of a weird reverse headlock kind of, I'm just controlling the neck. Gable grip. Okay? Now, what I want to do is I want to remember when I was doing this and I was kind of compressing his chest and he's like, ugh, it's hard to breathe. You're a fat guy, get off of me, right? Sort of the same thing. I start in side control, capture the head, get good control of it. I want the wrist bone close to his back of his neck, make gable grip. This is over here on his side. I want to move it to the center of his chest. Now, I shift my weight over, I lift, and I crank him this way.
You got me.
Is that good?
Yeah.
This one popped my rib out of place the first time a guy did it to me. He put all of his weight on my ribs. It didn't hurt my neck enough to tap, and my rib went bloop, because you're putting all that pressure on the body. Thank you, sir. All right. Joel. Head this way. All right, so just to give you guys a little bit different angle, right? Crank him a little bit this way. This is doing the same sort of thing, making it hard for him to breathe, right? Change, move to this position. Gable grip, elbows too far over, center of the chest, like I'm gonna crank this up. Walk towards his head, move up, and then I push. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Does it make sense?
Yes,
sir. Does anybody else need to without injuring anyone, does anybody need to feel it so you kind of like, how is this really working?
I'd like to see you do it to Joel again.
Sorry, Joel. Joe, we're gonna be here. We're gonna strike the groin. Right? We're gonna hit the elbow. No. Try side control, try neck crank from side control, which is ultimately side cradle.
It's not crank.
It is a neck crank, but you're also compressing the chest.
Yeah, sure.
Like I said, your neck is super flexible. So I basically I collapsed his lungs and his diaphragm so he couldn't breathe. He's like, ah, Yeah. By the way, I was probably, how old are you now, 17, 18?
18.
I was a little bit older, I was probably 23 the first time a guy did this to me, and I was pretty flexible, it did not hurt my neck. But I had a hard time breathing and that rib went pop. I was like, get that back out of there. Right? Go. Positions, stuff that I'm seeing. So gable grip can be this way or this way, but one of these ways is going to give us a bicep curl, right? And the other one is not. Does that make sense? So which hand is up kind of matters, right? So when we're looking at setting them up, if I start in a scarf hold, this is basically the idea to kind of get them going, right? Then I want to switch, right, to this hand, right? So if I'm chest to chest, the head side hand is the working hand, the leg side hand, I want to make a bicep curl. So this wouldn't work. This works. Now I'm going to crank this arm that way using a bicep curl kind of a motion. Does that make sense? Now off of his chest, look at all this space. I do this, right? He sees that there's a hole right there. He starts sliding his head to the other direction. And there's his escape. So I got to take up all that space. So I start here, right? And then I rotate my wrist. See, I said my wrist should be underneath his head. So I bicep curl his head, tighten all this up, and then he's got nowhere to go, right? Now if I'm a little higher here, I'll get a little bit more neck crank. If I'm a little bit lower, I push into his sternum. Does that make sense? Sure. Did you guys notice that this way, the hands tend to come apart? So this is the way, so that it's in the proper locked position, and you're curling here, and you're pulling this in. And then you're using your back muscles to make that move. For the side control cradle crank, neck crank. Cool? Sir, thanks. Appreciate it, Dylan.
You're welcome.
Any questions?
Yes, sir.
Who liked all the neck crank work we did? Who liked the arm bar escapes and the arm bar work we did as the warm up? Remember, guys, that we could do push-ups and sit-ups for an hour, right, just to get our physical fitness.
Yeah.
But you can also do, if I'm doing the arm bar drill, right, I'm on top of the guy, right, and I get him up and I do this, right, and then I get back to here. That's like half of a burpee, right? Yeah. So I mean, you're going to get plenty of work if you do it, but you got to rep it out to get any value for your physical fitness. But it's more fun to do that than, let's do, 200 push-ups today. That just kind of sucks. Make the line.
Yes, sir.
Sure.